Good morning, afternoon, evening, nighttime, in the middle of the day, at the beginning of the day. Hello, how are you guys? Welcome to Heart of Christ Ministry. I missed the color by a slight amount. I was trying to match the marquee to my hat, but I think I missed it by a bit. So it's all good though. We will make it work anyway. With that being said, hope you guys are feeling fantastic on this lovely, amazing October 7th. I tell you, God is in the blessing business. There is so much to be grateful for, so much to be thankful for, so much to feel absolutely wonderfully blessed about. And if you're struggling with that, just take a look within, right? Take a look around you. It's all a true blessing in every sense of the word. And so with that being said, guys, once again, hope this message finds you feeling your absolute best. And remember, if you got life, you got a chance. Tap into your divine, tap into your intuition, tap into what you know to be true. And that is you are a dynamic, creative, wonderful, amazing, phenomenal being made in the image and likeness of the God that is so loving and wonderful. So remember that. All right. So before we get into this message for today, new direction, self-love, boy, and I'm feeling it. Let's get into a line of business to start. Okay. So if you have any questions, any feedback, anything you want to share with Heart of Christ Ministry, guys, write to us at ShaunG04@gmail.com. Prayer requests, we will get to you as soon as we possibly can, and we'll make it quick and expedient. I'll do my best to get to you. I'm a busy man of late, but no, I will do my very best to get to you quickly. So whatever you got, excuse me, whatever you have, shoot it over. We'll take care of it. We'll move forward from there. All right. Thank you in advance for that. And sow a seed. If yesterday's 50th message of me smoking a cigar on camera benefited you, or the message itself just benefited you, or any of the 50 messages we've had benefited you and have helped you to feel better about yourself, better about your situation, guys, by all means, sow a seed. No seed is ever too big or too small. The seed you sow never leaves your life. And remember, when you start that train of giving, it makes a domino effect into your life. One small seed can create a harvest and just blow it completely out the water for you, have you prospering beyond measure in the most amazing way possible. So with that being said, if you're feeling led to do that, VENMO, Heart of Christ Ministry, PayPal, ShaunG04@gmail.com, Apple Pay upon request. And we got Zelle and all that other good stuff too. Just email me if you want to give and you don't know how to. I will lead you to an outlet that works for you. And thank you in advance for that, guys. I greatly appreciate it. Getting into Where's My Abundance. So I'm telling you guys, don't underestimate Where's My Abundance, right? Don't underestimate it. Why? Because your life depends on your consciousness and the consciousness that you build. I love that word, consciousness. Your life depends on the consciousness that you build. So what you want to do is build a God consciousness, or not build, but cultivate a God consciousness, which is a prosperity consciousness, which is an abundant consciousness, which is a love consciousness. That's what you want. That's why I do this silly old game called Where's My Abundance? Because if you're in gratitude, much like I said when I started this, and you're feeling grateful and you're feeling like you have all that you need right now in this moment, guess what? That's going to translate to your life. Your life is a full-on mirror of what you give to it. Whatever is happening is a mirror effect of what's inside yourself. And the only way to fix it is to go within and change the tune that you're playing. Okay. So with that being said, I'm going to give you 30 seconds for you to rock Where's My Abundance. When you get and you find what your abundance is, what I want you to do is place it into the comments and we will go from there. All right. Give you 30 seconds. Where's my abundance? Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. All right. So, where's my abundance? Once you figure it out, once you have what it is, place it into the comments, because guess what? Your abundance inspires everybody else. And you know what else? Not only does your abundance inspire everybody else, but it gets everybody else thinking about what is abundant in their own life. And this is why I love this opportunity to do this, because it really creates a great chance to connect to your true abundance, because it's all you, right? It's all you, right? And so what my abundance is, before I get into today's message, is this. This is my abundance. My abundance is having a home that is clean. There's a space open. You should see the sunlight coming through here. That makes me feel so grateful to know that that is there, and I get to live and be here every day and follow my dreams and follow what's in my heart and just taking it all in. I'm telling you, it all starts with gratitude, guys. It all starts with gratitude. And I'm not talking about just thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm talking about gratitude that you feel it right down to the core of your heart and it resonates out. It has to start there, because if it doesn't start there, then nothing will be sustainable. So we always want to ensure that we are in a position to experience gratitude and experience abundance. And another thing I want to tell you, don't just do this right now, right? Allow yourself the ability to rise higher by doing this at least once every hour. All it takes is 30 seconds. You're wearing a watch? Time your watch for 30 seconds. Your phone. Everybody carries their phone with them most of the time. 30 seconds. Focus on what's abundant around you. I guarantee you will find something and it will make a difference in your life. Okay? With that being said, thank you for playing Where's My Abundance? Today's message, yeah, buddy, you know what I'm about to say, because we got a good one. Right? Heart of Christ Ministry. Self-love frees us from limitations. Limitation in the nation, right? So, limitations, okay? Now, when I say limitations, what I'm talking about is self-inflicted limitations, okay? And what are self-inflicted limitations? Self-inflicted limitations are things like this, right? You've been created to be, a world-class engineer and inventor, and you're trying to play football. Or, you've been created to be, a rocket scientist, and you're out here trying to play, basketball or something like that. Those are weird examples. But what I mean is, everybody is created in a way with a set of gifts and talents used to help them to not only thrive, but to be into a space of genius, right? But the only way we can ever get to that point is when we, one, recognize those gifts, and two, we love on them unconditionally in a way that, boom, explodes them out onto the scene and helps us to manifest resources to help us to grow those gifts, right? So many years of my life, I felt like I had an identity crisis. That's probably why I went into being an actor, because I would imitate every single person I saw that I liked and that I wanted to be like, and I just basically took on that identity and just adopted it. And so this was great, but the only problem was I wasn't being authentic to myself, so none of it ever worked out. So that's when I really had to get to a point of understanding, okay, Shaun, now you got to be yourself. And so they go, well, who am I and what type of gifts do I have? Well, I pulled out a notebook and I started writing down all of the gifts that I had, everything I was good at as a little kid, all the things I enjoyed. And before you know it, my gifts came to the forefront, right? And so when I began being myself, my true self, because here's the thing, I was writing this book today with my wife, amazing book. I think it's called Universe Loves You or something like that. The objective of the universe, the objective of God, the objective of the all that is, you probably want to write this down or record this segment right here, is self-actualization in the highest form of love. Okay. Self-actualization in the highest form of love. The universe is only interested. God is only interested in you doing things that's going to help you to become more of who you were created to be. And it's going to be done in love. And when I say love, it doesn't always necessarily mean roses. Sometimes there's pain because love is everything. Love encompasses all. There's no judgment when the bottom falls out. Like when things are tough, you've got to love it. You can't judge it. You got to say, you know what? I accept you completely. That is love. The universe, God, all that is only interested. Self-actualization in the highest form of love. And so why do I tell you that? I tell you that because you have to dive in to what makes you your authentic self, and then you got to love on it. You got to love on it. Being somebody else, trying to take somebody else's dream, living somebody else's life, it's unsustainable. It won't last long at all. You've got to go within, you've got to dive in, and you got to see, okay, who am I? Who am I to be in this world? Right? And if you want to take it a step further, there are different tests that you can do to sort of figure out what personality traits you have. But honestly, I think you just look at what you were drawn to as a child, and that will open it up for you to see where you are. Like even the stuff that like the adults may have told you was nonsense, right? And then you just shut it down. Maybe revisit that and see, okay, maybe this is where my true wealth, my true art, my true creativity lies. You got to visit all those avenues. And once again, when you visit those avenues, you just dive into them. You love on them. You give them unconditional love. You give them passion. And then they begin to sprout in ways unimaginable. And I'm just telling you from experience, this is how this works. This is how this works. Okay. So took me 13 minutes. Let's get into it. Number one, self-love leads to divine truth. Okay. Self-love leads to divine truth. So you got to understand the greatest force in the universe, poke out my ear. The greatest force in the universe is what? It's love. It's divine love. That's the greatest force in the universe. When we say self, if you notice when I put self-love, a lot of times I'll capitalize it. The reason I do that, because self means the authentic self. It means the divine self. So what we're really saying is divine love leads to divine truth, right? And so how do we make that happen? Well, you start with any amount of love that you have, right? And the beauty is, once again, universe rooted, self-actualization in the highest form of love, divine love, self-love. What happens is self-love is present. Everything that is divine rises to the top. Everything that is not is separated. Sometimes there's stuff in there that you got to face. And when you face it, bam, you move up to a next level. It's just a whole journey, right? And it's line upon line, precept upon precept. This is how God works, right? So when self-love is born, divine truth can be experienced. And what divine truth is, why I love divine truth so much, you can walk into a situation and say, I declare divine truth over this situation. And guess what? Everything that is not truth will be revealed to you through the spirit of discernment. Is going to be revealed to you to show you what is truth and what is not. And it's easy to make a decision from there, right? So I can, for example, there was a time where I was involved in a line of work that I had some skill at, right? I forget what it was, but that's not even important. I was good at it to a degree. And there wasn't like this passionate pull towards it, so to speak, right? It was just more or less like, okay, this is good. It pays nicely. I enjoy it. It's fun. Let me just kind of take part in it. And so I can remember everybody around me was getting promoted, and I was crazy thing. Everybody around me was getting promoted, and I was doing better work than they were, and I wasn't getting promoted at all. I was staying in the same place, and these people were getting raises, and I'm just like, wait a minute, something ain't right with this, man. And so I went in and I started to like meditate and pray, and I had to ask, I was like, I'm doing my best. I show up here and I do everything that I can to be the very best that I can. And all I got from the divine was, this is not your place of divine truth. It's not, right? And that's all I needed to know. That in itself allowed me to see that, why would the universe prosper me in a place that I really and truthfully, from a divine perspective, didn't belong in? So once I figured out, okay, well, let me get on out of here and figure out where do I belong? And once I found out where I belong, the progress was so much easier, and the way to love it was so much easier. Why? Because we love things we're passionate about. We love things that we're drawn to. We love things that bring us joy and happiness, right? It becomes easier and easier to love. And when your passion really grows, right? Like me doing what I'm doing right now, when it really grows, you show up every day on fire to do it, right? I'm not like this all day long. I wish I was. But I mean, that wouldn't be sustainable. But when it comes time for me to show up and be on this camera and to spit out this hot fire like Dylan, right? I am here. I'm ready. I am passionate to do it, right? And I love that. And that love poured into this work allows it to prosper in one way or another, right? And that's so important, because until you find your divine truth, you're never going to live the maximum potential that your life desires for you. Okay. Number 2. So we just talked about this. When self-love is unconditional, limits become illusions, right? So I absolutely love Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan, during the pandemic and even now, had become like a mentor to me, because just the way he conducted his professional life and just everything. And just, for me growing up, like a lot of times you just look for African-American males to model yourself after, to admire and stuff like that. And that guy was it for me, because it was just like, he had like the Midas touch and everything worked out. And it was amazing. So I say that because I can remember his Hall of Fame speech, and he was like in his late 40s or something like that. And he made the quote. He said, "Limits, like fears, are often just an illusion." Right. And so I watched that clip a couple times, and something was revealed to me when I watched it after a few times. What I was really hearing him say, that because I love the game of basketball so much, because my love for myself and for the game of basketball is so great, right? Ultimately for himself, because basketball is just an extension of him, right? It begins to dissolve all of the illusions. The illusions cease to exist, because there's so much love there, and love trumps everything, right? Love rises so much higher than everything. It's the lightest feeling there is. True love, that is self-love, divine love. It rises up, and the illusions no longer become a factor. Why? Because love is God consciousness. And in God consciousness, there are no limits. There are no illusions in the sense of self-created ones, right? We're tapped in, we're tuned in, we're turned up to who we are and who we're supposed to be, right? And when he said that, I'm like, you know what? How awesome would it be to love something so much that all the perceived limitations drop away and they just become illusions, right? Illusions mean you just bye, right? That's what self-love does, right? Unconditional self-love. So guess what? You love yourself so much to the point where from a second nature standpoint, you know what it is you deserve out of life. You know what it is you deserve out of your passions. You know what it is, like yesterday, you're not going to settle for. And when that happens, It's like Paulo Coelho said, the universe will conspire to give you something when it comes that purely and deeply from your heart. There is nothing that's going to stand in your way. It is going to lay down and you're going to receive that thing because you are embodying the epitome of divine connection to the very thing that you've been created to bring forth into this world. And it is just an amazing experience. So before I move on with this, understand, love yourself first unconditionally, whatever it takes. Whatever it takes. We talked about forgiveness. We're probably going to do an episode on forgiveness again because it's needed in order to experience self-love. But, that's what it comes down to, right? Love yourself unconditionally. Love yourself with the love of God. Give yourself the benefit of the doubt. Fake it until it feels good. And then once it feels good, figure out, okay, where is that authenticity leading me to? What types of passions? Right? And I'm not just talking about any kind of I'm talking about the calling, the thing that wakes you up out of bed and just makes you go, and you step into that, right? And you bring that love and every illusion, every obstacle falls away. All right? Boom. Drops the mic, picks it back up for number 3. Self-love guides us to happiness, and happiness overcomes our self-inflicted limitations. I want to ask you something. And if you're listening in, I want you to comment for me. Are you truly happy? Okay. And what I don't want you to do is I don't want you to look outside yourself and think about, your house, your job, your account, your relationships, your possessions, or any of that stuff. Are you really happy? You have to ask yourself that every day, sometimes multiple times throughout the day. Am I truly happy? And what is happiness, right? Let's get to the definition of what happiness really is. Happiness is being able to be at peace without needing anything outside yourself to happen in a controlled, egoic sort of way, but you can accept what is. And so what do I mean by this? I wake up, right? I know that I desire to live an epic existence, right? And what does an epic existence contain? I've got goals written down, right? It's just having this success, doing that success, having this, blah, 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 such and such, right? Selling books, all this. But if that doesn't happen, guess what? I can still be at peace. I can still be content. I can still smile. I can still enjoy my life. That's happiness, right? And then when the stuff outside you does happen, it creates even more joy. But we've got to come within first, right? We've got to come within and build that happiness. And then guess what? You build it in here and then it reflects on the outside. So how do you build happiness? Love. Love is the way to build true happiness. Why? Because you look at your life and you say, I've been doing the very best I can with what I have. Period. Up until this point, this moment right here, right now, I've been doing the very best I can with what I have. I've been doing the very best I can with what I have. And I love myself. I accept myself. I appreciate myself for that. And that's all I need to do. And guess what? That makes me happy, right? Because if I know I'm giving life my everything, there's no doubt in my mind that you, I, or anybody else will be happy when I am putting the maximum potential on being the very best version of myself, when I'm connecting to spirit, when I am really in touch with my intuition and I'm giving it all that I got. There is no question that I will be happy. Why? Because happiness comes from within. It's an inside job, right? Used to call myself the happiness guru at one time when I was going through those identity crises. It was actually pretty neat, but that's what I had to learn. I had to become the happiness guru to realize happiness is all within. It doesn't matter what goes out. And if my happiness is affected by something outside of me, guess what? That's not real happiness. That means I'm attached to something, right? So getting back to this self-love, right? Self-love, by the simple act of loving ourselves within, it creates happiness. And happiness takes your attention off of your self-inflicted limitations, off of everything that does not seem to go right. You got to ask yourself again, guys, ask yourself these right type of questions. How on a scale from 0 to 100, how often am I focused on negativity, on lack, on struggle? Like, really ask yourself that question and see what comes up, right? Let's say 37%, right? I'm focusing on lack. So you know what you do? The next day you try to get that down. You want to get to a point where like 80, 90+% of your life is focused on being happy, because that is when your life is going to turn around. And that comes through self-love, right? Because here's the thing. It's all you, right? It's all you. It's all a reflection of yourself, right? God has given you the keys to the kingdom. He says, okay, here you go. What are you going to do with it? Well, I'm going to complain. I'm going to talk about how negative it is out there and how these people are crazy and how the president is crazy and he don't know what he's doing. Come on. You got the keys to the kingdom and you want to talk about the president, right? No. You want to go within, tap into that self-actualization through self-love, and you want to be happy. And when you're done doing that, you want to say, you know what, regardless of what else would happen today, I can be happy right now, and I can smile, and I can accept what is without question. That is true happiness, and that happiness overcomes all limitations. And that self-love just continues to grow and grow and grow and grow. And it even grows. The beautiful thing with love always continues to expand, and it expands even in an unconditional form, right? So what actually appears to be limitless is actually limitless on top of being limitless, right? So you become more fulfilled with it, and that overflows, and then you want to offer it to people, right? And this comes in offering, like, you want to like just wake up one day and randomly want to just give gifts to people and just, give freely and just be so filled up with it, right? So in closing with this, guys, self-love is everything, right? Self-love is everything. And the reason why it is everything, because it sort of nips in the bud all these things that we find ourselves struggling with. And if there's struggle, that means love is not present. If there's fear, that means love is not present. If there's lack, that means love is not present. Whatever you're missing means you have to love on more within yourself. And when you do that, you'll start to see that thing transform. This is why it's important to choose self-love. This is why God has led me to move away from prosperity and all that good stuff that I love to talking about self-love. Why? Because the divine spirit knows people need to love themselves first if they're ever going to have a chance at living a life that they desire and they can be happy about and grateful towards. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up today's message. It's time for pancakes. I'm having pancakes for lunch. All right. Now. It's so crazy. Oh my gosh, I got to get off here in a bit. Anyway, guys, thank you for tuning in. If you have any questions, any comments, any prayer requests, I would love to pray with you, love to pray for you, love to just send divine love and light and God's spirit over every one of your affairs and everything that you're involved in. You have any questions that you want me to answer, we're going to get back once we start getting enough questions pouring in about self-love. We're going to re-kick up that Ask Reverend Shaun, but for now, we're going to put it on hold. But if you have any questions, feel free to write ShaunG04@gmail.com. And then sow that seed, ladies and gentlemen. You got to sow the seed because that's what Jesus wants. Yes, Lord. All right. So if you feel, I'm just in a crazy mood today. If you feel that this message has benefited you, I've brought you a little bit of joy, a little bit of laughter today, a little bit of insight, and not just on this message, but the messages from the past. I would love you to sow a seed today. Remember, no seed is ever too big or too small. The seed you sow never leaves your life, and it's going to come back multiplied. It just does that. That's the way that money operates. That's the way that money operates when you give and give from the heart. So all I want you to do is, if you decide to give from your heart. It'll go to the ministry. We'll take it. We'll do our thing. We'll use it to continue to expand and continue to grow, and we'll continue to help you to grow, because that's what counts. Okay. So if that makes sense to you, if that resonates with you, thank you in advance for your generosity and kindness. You can sow a seed today at Venmo, Heart of Christ Ministry, PayPal, ShaunG04@gmail.com, Apple Pay upon request, Zelle's possible, and whatever else, we'll figure it out. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, it has been real today, all days, every day. And I'm going to leave you with that. May the presence of God in me bless and honor the presence of God in you guys. Have a wonderful day. Love yourself. Give yourself a hug. Take care of yourself in the utmost possible way. And I'm telling you, that will create a difference in your life. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for tuning in. Take care. We'll talk soon.
Every dream begins with a vision that sees everything before anyone else ever can. A vision that ignites the endless power to make all your dreams come true.